Hello, everyone. I'm Kim.
And I'm Andy.
And together we are the I Wonder Sisters.
Yay!
we got it right. It's almost 100%. And this is Dobby.
The house elf from Harry Potter.
Except this Dobby's no house elf. He's very spoiled.
Yes.
So hi everyone. On Thursdays is our Love and Libations show. Okay, you could drink anything you like.
We're drinking beer.
It's drinking beer. That's right. By the fire fire oven. It's a little windy here. A lot windy here in northern New Mexico, so it feels a little chilly in the house, but actually it's beautiful outside, so that's weird.
It is. It's really gorgeous.
So we're just taking the chill off. But on Love and Libations, we just talk about conversations that Andy and I have usually during coffee time.
Mm-hmm.
In the mornings, and we just like to share those conversations with you every Thursday. If you're just watching the first episode since we've been back, Sundays are going to be our more formal lessons videos. So we're right now on a goddess series, and if you missed last Sunday, it was just part one, and so we're going to be doing 5 videos with 2 goddesses each, and then we'll see what's to come, what we feel like, teaching after that, and we'll announce it like probably on the third show would be probably good. Okay, or if there's something that you want us to talk about for a few videos too, that would also be great. And just let us know.
Yeah.
So you can reach us on Instagram at I Wonder Sisters, or email us at iwondersisterhood@gmail.com. So today we're talking about balance.
Come on.
What that word means to both of us. Yes, Andy and I are soul sisters. We're the best of friends. At the core, we agree on just about everything, but we do have different essences to bring to certain definitions and what we feel things are, and it really makes it very interesting. So today the word is balance, and I'm just going to kind of ask Andy, like, what does that mean to you when it comes to life?
I think people bandy the word balance around quite a lot, and it's very difficult for people to find balance in their lives, especially if they've got a family and they work 40 hours a week or more. And it's very difficult to take time for yourself, practice your spirituality any day but maybe Sunday. And it's 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 a it's a delicate word to play with, really. Um, I think that balance to me is finding time to take time for all the different aspects of my life, my professional aspect, my personal aspect, as in journaling and meditating and things like that, and also my spiritual aspect, which has a lot to do with my renewed interest in the tarot and the runes and the oracle decks. And so finding balance is a tricky thing. And I think a lot of people feel bad that they focus too much on one aspect of their lives, and to the detriment or neglect of others.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense to beat yourself up if you're focused on your job because you have to be, or if you're a stay-at-home mom and you're just focused on your kids because you have to be. Um, And I think finding time for other things is often very, very difficult for a lot of people. Um, and you shouldn't you shouldn't beat yourself up um, for not being able to find balance. I find very often that if something is your passion, you're going to devote more time to it than anything else. And sometimes not give time to yourself, alone time. Um, Take it away, Kim.
Well, I was telling Andy when we had the conversation about this is that there is a school of thought among many people that to even ask someone to create balance in their lives, to ask yourself to create balance is just unreasonable. There is a school of thought that says that there's just no way. It's just like, it's like nirvana. It's like trying to reach nirvana, which is something some people believe in and others don't. And there are some people who believe that the word balance is like that. Um, I have to say that I don't think that it's impossible. I think that there'll always be something in your life or some things in your life that will take precedence at different times. And as Andy said, I don't think that anybody should use that as a reason to say, oh, I'm failing at balancing my life, to beat themselves up about it or anything like that. I think that balance itself,
Oh,
bless you,
excuse me.
but I think that balance itself is something that flows in and flows out. And I think that as we live and our lives change and people come and go out of our lives, situations come and go, jobs come and go. I think that it's something more so that flows in and flows out, and that what I expect out of my life is that at different times I will be really, really focused on a particular thing. And then there
Yeah.
will be other times that where it'll be easier to say, this is the hour I set aside for reading, or this is the hour I set aside for music, or for nothing, or for just cooking, or, whatever. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think that the coming and going of that, the flowing in and out, is a part of the human experience. And it's different for all of us. I mean, Andy and I are fortunate, like, neither one of us has any kids. And also I think it
But we
makes,
have these.
yeah, exactly, that depend on us all the time. That's very true. That is very, very true. And I think a lot of people feel as though it's harder when you have to go answer to somebody. Like, I think people feel like they have to answer to their kids. They have to answer to their mates, especially if you're married or you're living together. You feel like you have to answer to them about how much time you spend on a particular thing, or you spend with them, or doing things by yourself, and they might feel left out, but you might really need that solitary time. So it's a different situation. It has a different meaning, I think, for everybody, depending on the structure of your life and your family life and what that is. So I was saying to Andy that I think that what's most important that I get out of it when I read, oh, try to balance your life, is the striving for it, really. I don't know if it's one of those things we ever get to, and we don't stay there, but I think the awareness of just making sure that you check in with your life.
Yeah, I mean, we recently both got planners for 2017. And my planner happens to have the month of December 2016 in it. And every night before I go to bed, I take my planner, which is quite a big book, and I write in things that are my priorities for the next day. And meditation is always one, writing is always one, working with the cards and the runes, that's always one. Taking time to read, I put that in. Taking a nap, which is something that's very precious to both Kim and me. Um, and it doesn't it doesn't give me specific times to do each thing. It's it trusts me that I will know how to flow from one activity into another.
Mhm.
And like Kim said, I think keeping the word balance in your mind is important because you can let yourself get so sidetracked by things that aren't important. And if you strive for balance but don't get there, that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, Balance is a kind of utopia, and unrealistic in many ways. I would guess that a lot of very successful people do not have balance in their lives.
No.
Um, they're very work focused or home focused or whatever. And
Yeah. I
I,
mean, money, achievements, levels of goals. I mean, there's some people that wouldn't be where they are um, if they didn't live that lifestyle at least for some period of time.
yeah, yeah,
And it just depends on really what you want. I mean, that's certainly not a lifestyle that we want. I don't want to check my hours at the end of the week and found out that I worked more than I played or rested. I don't, that's just not what I want. However, when it is time to work, I'm very focused on that. If I know that I'm going to get it done that day, I'm going to get it done no matter what. Now, for instance, today was a day where normally I write, and both Angie and I are content writers as well as being the I Wonder sisters. So we always have this kind of emotional, I think, mental battle of how much time we spend on somebody else's work as
yeah.
opposed to writing for I Wonder or defining what we want for I Wonder every month, which is something that I really want to do in 2017. If you're looking for a formal, organized video, Love and Libations is not that. Okay,
This is Chloe,
Chloe's our eldest.
and she's straight from the groomer
Yeah, she's so cute.
and looking very, very smart.
And she's on Instagram if you care to see her pictures. And also while I was talking, the wind has blown our door open, and you would not even imagine the amount of crap I sweep up off of this floor. Andy and I live, they call this the high desert. Okay, so not only are we in the mountains, but the land itself is desert land. It's like cactus and everything. So when it gets windy, and we kind of live in a way indoor, outdoor as much as we can. Um, but we had the doors shut because we were trying to like take the chill off the house. But most of the time it's open and there's just half of the desert in here. And I'm a fanatic about sweeping. And there's some days where Andy's like, Kim, give it up because you've lost.
Talk about balance.
15 minutes later, I'm like, look at the floor, and I'm sweeping again. And like, this is not the area for wall to wall carpet. You know what I'm saying? We can't have all that she poo poo stuff, So, yeah. So, so the door could blow open at any time. The winds get really, really strong here. So,
I mean, frequently we get winds up to 40 miles an hour gusts,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
and it rattles the windows.
Yeah.
It creeps Kim
I'm not a
out.
big fan of that, especially at night. I don't,
Yeah.
And it is very creepy. But speaking of balance, sometimes when I'm sweeping, I'll say to Andy, I cannot believe, do you see all the sand and grit on this floor? And Andy goes, Kim, do you see that scenery? Do you see how beautiful it is out there? Do you like it? Yes. Okay. Well, there's a trade-off. Like my cousin Mo always says, girl, you can't expect to live in paradise and not have to pay something. So for us, it's sweeping, sand, grit, on the tile floors and everything. And Andy was right. I mean, this is a bit of what we pay, because these gusts come like sometimes so unexpectedly. Like we'll be sitting outside because the sun is warm, and it's December, and then 15 minutes later, here comes like everything,
In your face.
Yes, yeah, in your eyes, everything is like you're like this. So it's a trade-off, like with every place. We could be in Santa Fe, living, kind of like in the city, where there are buildings and actual neighbors, blocking all of that. But it's not the life that we've chosen. So, and I think that that's an important part of, of what we're talking about too. I think, you have to realize that once you decide upon something, also, like if you have a goal or a dream or a passion that you're working on, you can't then all the time, I won't say that you can't, but it would be very difficult if you turned around then and said, okay, now I want to have 5 babies. You know what I mean? It's going to change things, so we have to be realistic about what it is that we really want, and how much time and space, like inner space, we're going to be able to give to everything, and a baby is definitely someone that is going to be like, demanding your time.
You have to decide what your priorities are.
Yeah.
Kim and I have decided that the land here, the scenery, the mountains, the sunrises and sunsets, the amount of land that our dogs can run around in,
Yeah.
that's more important to us than having a clean floor every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Which Kim would do if I didn't sit on her face.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's how we find our balance.
Yeah.
At nighttime, especially right now because a full moon is coming up, and when the sky is clear, you could reach up and touch the stars.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing like it. I've never seen a starry sky that compares to the one here in New Mexico.
No, never.
There's nothing like it.
No.
And I wouldn't trade that for anything. Wind, sand.
Yeah, grit, dirt, and a rock in your eye.
Yeah, no, I really, really wouldn't. I've often said that if I'm in a crabby mood, and I walk outside in the morning and see the mountains, and can catch a little bit of the pink sunrise across the horizon, it changes everything for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
it really does. It can't help but change you. I mean, there's times when I've been out early like that with the dogs, and then also our landlady, who's next door on the land, of course, with her dogs sometimes, and they start to drive me nuts. And I'll come in and I'm fussing, and Angie will go, but did you see that sun? Did you see that sunrise? And I'm like, yes, I saw it. It's gorgeous. It's poetry. But I'm sleepy or tired, but you can't help. I mean, it's like for a moment I look up and I go, it can't help but bring you into the present. I prefer sunsets myself. Andy prefers sunrises, but they're both as beautiful. and
Yeah, they are equally beautiful
yeah,
here.
yeah, so whether you're a morning or night person, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, that's our priority, at this point in our lives. I mean, we've seen, we have something to compare it to, I mean, both of us have lived in cities and towns and busy places. um Chloe, please don't cut us off. Chloe's lounging on the computer as usual. They love the computer. They're either walking on it or something. But yeah, so that's just a conversation that we wanted to share with you. Basically, is that the only thing you can really expect of yourself is the awareness of it. Like Andy said, don't get lost and detached from checking in with yourself. Usually your body, your health, your mindset will tell you when things are out of balance in your life.
Yeah, I mean, dis-ease is
Yeah.
very common among
Hmm.
people who are focused on one thing to the neglect of everything
Everything else.
else.
Yeah.
And dis-ease is not just being ill at ease with yourself, but it's also that headache at the end of the day,
Hmm.
the indigestion you have after you eat a meal. Um, it could be anything, it could be serious. And like Kim said, if you check in with yourself from time to time during the the day, that you can refocus your energies um, in another way to give yourself a moment, even if it's just a moment
Yeah. Yeah.
of taking a deep breath, looking at your surroundings, becoming present in them, taking in the other people that are there. Um, you don't have to talk to anybody, but just becoming aware um, can help you bring balance back into your life, and
Exactly.
so that you avoid dis-ease.
Yeah, exactly. It's so important to, um, as Andy mentioned, that it's not really about the amount of time. It's
Right.
not about, like, I mean, listen, it's not realistic if you have a 9 to 5 job. It's not realistic to think you're going to spend 8 hours there, 8 hours with your family, eight hours sleeping, 8 hours on a hobby. That's not going to happen. Obviously, there's only but so many hours in a day. It's really just about that coming back, as Andy said, into the moment, coming back into the moment, and maybe taking 5 minutes to read something that you want to read, or just flip through a magazine, or something like that. Doodle. I mean, my planner is the year of the doodle. That's what I'm using, and it keeps keeps you creative. And then what I do with my to-do list is I just doodle them, which works for me because my handwriting is terrible. I'm trying to learn how to draw, all these things, but I like the few moments that I do spend in it. Because, and it starts January 1st. You can start it any day, any month, actually, because it's a generic January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, where they ask you to do something just a little bit new and different every day. So so far I'm really liking going through the beginnings of it, where it gets you ready for that. Um but yeah, it doesn't mean that you need to spend, 4 hours here, 4 hours there, 4 hours another. It's not about that, you know.
When I lived in England, I had a watch that I could set to make a noise once on the hour. And I was so frenetic there and running around and doing this and doing that, that I set that watch so that on the hour, every hour, except at bedtime, it made a ding. And I would stop whatever I was doing. I would take in my surroundings wherever I was, in a restaurant, in a park, in the theater, whatever. And I would take a few deep breaths. It wouldn't even last 30 seconds. and come back to myself, recenter myself, um, reconnect with the world around me. And I found that very, very helpful. I don't need to do it anymore now, but I did then when I had so much on my plate.
Yeah, and it's good to find what resonates with you and what you know that's like a great way to start. If like something rang a bell inside of here for you when Andy is talking about that, then try that. But make it your own, you know. Also, now see for me that wouldn't work. I try. Andy's good at that type of thing. I'm not because I did that one time and all I did was get mad every hour that thing went off. You know, I was being straight up no chaser. Okay. Really, because, you know, it's not my personality. So, like, at the first hour, I was like, okay, time for presents. And then the next hour, I'm like, okay, time for presents. And then when that thing went off again, I'm like, this is just way too much for me. Presents, 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 presents. I can't take it. You know, so I did it. It lasted like a half a day. Okay. So that's just not me, you know, but natural things do bring me into the moment, you know, very natural happenings. And the animals do it a lot for me,
For
you
me
know.
too.
Yeah.
The animals will teach you how to be present almost all the time.
Yeah.
Because they ask for things.
Yeah.
They ask for food. They ask for attention and affection. They ask for time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Chloe's just laying here on my lap with her head on the computer,
Which is freaking me out.
and she's so relaxed.
I'm like, don't you move and hit the wrong button.
She's so relaxed, and she's making me relax just sitting here petting her.
I'm very tense. Because she might hit the wrong button. I'm just saying.
I won't let her. I won't let her.
But they bring me back in a different way, like this, or I'm like, are they pooping again? You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, you know, your loved ones, your kids, your animals, you know, they will bring you back into focus. But choose the thing that works for you. So we are almost at a half hour.
Wow.
So we're going to say thank you and remember to watch our upload on Sundays. This Sunday will be the Goddess series part 2, and we're playing it as it resonates with us. We'll probably choose our goddesses on Saturday maybe. So that's how we do things, and it works for us. And our subject matters, you know, sometimes something really comes up that we talk about and it's really like pressing, and we go, okay, we have to talk about that on Love and Libations, you know. And other times it's really our natural thing basically that we would be chatting about if we weren't filming it. So it depends. So when we know, we'll announce it. If we don't announce anything, you'll know it's just a conversation that hopefully is helpful to all of us, you know, to keep all of us in a state of awareness. So we're gonna say goodbye.
Say bye, Chloe.
Chloe's like just ready to be knocked out. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. But yeah, I know.
Bye.